This is the final video of the 1 year living as a nomad series. We're going to talk about Norway now, which was the last country I was in before coming to London. So yay! I'm in Tromsø! Looks like it. It's snowing a little bit. Just a little bit. And yeah! I'm going to the Northern Lights tonight, apparently, fingers crossed. I went to Norway specifically to see the Northern Lights. That was something that I've always wanted to do. I think it's in the bucket list of most travelers, I think. So I chose to go to the main city tourists go to see the Northern Lights. Like Tromsø is a city in the north of Norway. Its economy is largely based on people going there to see the lights. And there's also like whale watching and some other stuff as well. I'm going to be honest, it was not very cheap. I spent about £450 for a 4-day trip. And you can go and you can see the lights for yourself. So the problem with that is that you need to go somewhere high up or somewhere far away from the city because of the light pollution. So you want it to be as dark as possible. And that's tough, especially with the weather conditions. It was between -7 and -11 the whole time I was there. I had to do some shopping for this trip. I had to buy some snow boots, scarves and stuff that I didn't bring with me during my trip because I wasn't going to very cold countries. But even with these added things that I bought, I chose to book a tour because they provided thermal suits, hand warmers and feet warmers, which were a godsend, honestly, because you go in town, it's already very cold, but you have to go out of town. And the place where we stopped to see the lights, we had snow up to almost like our knees, so your feet get wet and it's very uncomfortable. So if you weren't for the thermal suits and the heat warmers, the hand warmers and the feet warmers, I think it would have been a very uncomfortable experience. I managed to just book my Northern Lights tour, and the price was £127 for a smaller group of up to 7 people in a car, and they offer some food, some hot drinks, thermal suits, which was important for me, whereas you could get it for cheaper. You could get it for about between £90 and £100 if you wanted, but it's a bigger group, so you'd go with about 15 people in a bus, and I wanted this experience to be a little bit more personalized. But yeah, it is a bit on the expensive side, but I think if that's a dream that you have, and which was my case, it was worth doing it. Yeah, so the town of Tromsø itself, it's a very small town, but it's very pretty, especially because there was snow. It'd been snowing for a few days before I went. Great for pictures and videos. But to be fair, if you're traveling on a budget like me, you will struggle to go out and eat and have a beer because everything is extremely expensive. I'm talking about £16 pints, and I'm talking about, I think I went out to have a pancake and it was about that as well, £15 to £16. I did enjoy the city, but I'm gonna be honest, I was looking forward to leaving because I couldn't eat properly. I also had a bit of an issue with the hostel that I stayed in. So there's only one hostel in Tromsø. There's a load of other Airbnb options and hotels, obviously. But as I'm on a budget, I booked a hostel, which was already expensive for being a hostel. And when I got there, the hostel had been through an inspection just in the afternoon, and they had to close down. I'm not gonna make this whole video about this, but long story short, they moved us to an Airbnb. They were a bit shit with the way they handled the situation. I complained to Booking.com and they ended up moving me to a hotel. I got reimbursed after a bit of a fight, but at the end of the day, I think I spent 2 nights in a hotel, or even just 1 night, I don't remember now. Yeah, so it's just a very quiet, friendly town with lots of little shops, little cafes. You had to walk constantly looking down to see where you're stepping to avoid the icy spots. I even tried to see the lights by myself after I'd already seen them with the tour. I tried to go up on this hill to this huge park and to try and see the lights for myself. And yeah, it was it was very hard going up there when you're walking on icy roads. That's why I say like hire a tour guide. I think it is worth the money if you can afford it. So let's talk about the experience of seeing the lights itself. Obviously, people go with a lot of expectations, and especially if you Google before you go, like if you Google what's the experience like, and if you Google pictures of the Northern Lights, you will come with a lot of expectation. I would say there's two things. So I don't want to discourage you from doing it. It is magical. And the second thing is, it is different for everybody, not because of your perspective, but because the lights are a natural phenomenon. So it can happen the same way that it can rain a lot today and not rain so much tomorrow. That's how the lights work. It's like, it depends on Mother Nature. When we went to see them, we found them very easily.
How cool is that?
Do they just like live on there just anywhere?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nobody owns them?
And in fact, later on that night, they appeared in town, so we actually didn't have to leave town if we didn't want to. We could already see them from the car. We were just like looking for a spot, but you could see just like a very faint line in the sky. So at first the line was kind of grey, and then it's a bit underwhelming when you see like that, because of the way that people portray it on social media. Like, you think that you're gonna go in and the lights are gonna dance to you and you're gonna be like, oh my god. And it honestly, it's not like that. It's a very peaceful, calm experience.
Something like that comes into public, so that the government is going to be ashamed and China not.
Yeah.
That's what
China,
very famous.
China.
And it goes on for like a few hours. The lights change. There is the case that the lights might be dancing in front of you, but like the guide said that in 2 years working as a guide, he'd only seen that once. So probably what's going to happen is you're going to have a similar experience to mine. So the lights were moving very slowly, and it was really nice because we were sat by the fire, and then we look at the lights and they would be like a line. And then we were talking to each other, drinking some hot chocolate, and then we look again and the lights were like, they had like a little curve at the end. So it was actually really nice. It's still amazing, but it's not like people portray on social media. And I tried to post a real picture of how I could see it. Because of the lack of light, phones won't actually take a very good picture of it. What you need is an app. And I know this worked. I went with my iPhone 7 and this worked for me. You need an app that can change the manual settings of your camera. I used one called Camera Plus, and it worked well. So I put slowest shutter speed I could. Like, the shutter speed was at 30 seconds, so it took 30 seconds to take one picture. But you need a tripod for that to work. So the tour guide had a tripod, so I would put the tripod on, put the camera on it, and leave it there for 30 seconds. In fact, the guide had a professional camera, and there were times that we would look at the sky and there was nothing. We couldn't see anything, but when he took a picture of the sky, you could see like a green sort of gleam. The lights, the way they are, it's already super impressive. Why do you need to jazz it up and you need to make it look like it's even like more magical than it already is? I mean, I don't understand that. It's so much better than lights gleaming and people screaming. I don't know, that's what I thought it was gonna happen, like everybody would cry and get down on their knees. It was just like really peaceful. For the rest of the trip, I was literally just trying to survive in a very expensive town. I found this little spot in the center. -9, but no worries. Vegan hot dog, a fire, and hot chocolate. This is the place to go for cheap hot dogs, guys. That was affordable, actually. It was like it wasn't a huge hot dog, and the vegan one was about maybe £6. So yeah, I recommend booking a tour. There's a lot of tour operators there, and they're all like very similar, but do a proper research and find one that you like. Buy some snow gear. Don't underestimate the amount of snow that you're gonna get there, and bring some sandwiches if you can. It is so expensive. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching all these videos. I hope you enjoyed listening to some of my stories, and I hope it made you think as well, because making these videos made me think a lot about the past year, and I'm really excited now to start the tour of the Middle East, which starts about 11th of March. So thank you very much, and I'll see you later.